opportunities in the societies available in the various pharmacy schools and even under the Pharmaceutical Association of Nigerian Students. Fine. So in today's session, we trust that pharmacy students will learn a lot. And for those who are here, we encourage you to invite other pharmacy students to join us on this call. We are so sure that there is a whole lot to learn today. While we await the commencement of the session, I will read the citation of our there facilitators who are here with us today. Um, I think I'll start with pharmacist Taiwo Olaweyimi, who is here with us today. Thank you very much. So, Taiwo Olaweyimi is a pharmacist who obtained a Bachelor of Pharmacy degree from the University of Ibadan and whose career pursues strategies for profits and non-profits with an interest in healthcare strategy, communications, and international development. She is a 2020 West African Young Leaders Way Lead Fellow. She is also a member of the Policy, Advocacy, and the Research Committee of the Commonwealth Youth Health Network. Taiwo Olaweyimi also works with Advanced Health Africa in the for-profit sector, leading growth across a network of 200 plus pharmacies in Nigeria. Wahoo. In the development sector, she serves as a consultant with a global health organization supporting access to COVID-19 therapeutics for vulnerable and high-risk populations in Nigeria. She is the co-founder and executive director of Pharma Incubation Hub, PIH, a career fellowship for pharmacy students in over 10 African countries. Additionally, she is an experienced event compare and panel moderator with about 7 years of experience in moderating high-level corporate events for top brands like Mega Life Sciences, Lagos Health Summit, Microsoft Africa Development Center, ADC, and many more. She is passionate about youth development, social innovation, and international development. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome with me pharmacist Taiwo Olaweyimi. Also on this call, we have our second speaker, pharmacist Olaoye Damilola. I'll read his profile shortly. Pharmacist Olaoye Damilola Kozim is a graduate of the Faculty of Pharmacy at the University of Ibadan, Nigeria. He is the founder and executive director of the Alliance for Healthy Africa initiative. He is currently a pharmacist with APIN Public Health Initiative. He also served as the research coordinator of the Lakeshore Cancer Center, affiliated with Roswell Park Center Institute, New York, United States of America. He was a data contributor with the University of Oxford for the Oxford COVID-19 Government Response Tracker Project, Blavatnik School of Government at the University of Oxford. He is the pioneer director of the Research and Policy Advocacy Department, One Voice Initiative for Women and Children Emancipation, Nigeria, with consultative status with the United Nations Economic and Social Council, ECOSOC. His team won the GPA grant for maternal and child health project in 2020 and advanced GPA grant in 2021. Recently, in 2023, his team won the UNICEF and African Union Advocacy to Action Plus grant for community-led projects addressing violence against women and children. From Olaoye Damilola was the immediate past coordinator for the Pharmaceutical Society of Nigeria, Young Pharmacists Group, Oyo State, and the pioneer chairperson for the National Public Health Committee of the Pharmaceutical Association of Nigerian Students. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome with me pharmacist Olaoye Damilola Kozim. Thank you very much. So right about now, we will proceed to the session, and our facilitators are here with us, and we've heard their bios. Trust me, you are in for a lot of learning today. There's a whole lot to learn about leadership, and it's one subject that we've not really emphasized in pharmacy school. Well, we need to understand that as pharmacists, we are leaders. We are yet to make decisions and we can't take responsibility in whatever we do. So pharmacist Damilola Olaoye would be making this presentation about leadership, the intersection between leadership and pharmacy. Thank you very much for joining us. You have the floor, sir.
Okay, yeah, good afternoon, everyone. And it's certainly very nice to be here again to speak with you guys. I mean, I can see a lot of familiar names already. As I was rightly introduced, I'm Danola Olaoye, and I graduated from Faculty of Pharmacy, University of Ibadan. So we'll be talking about leadership. I know there's an expectation for slides preparation, but then most of my presentations I don't like to be restricted by slides because it ends up turning into a lecture. I would prefer this to be sort of a conversation and for us to probably learn from each other and each other's perspective. What I will try to do today is to take you through my journey of leadership, and probably you could learn a thing or two about things I did, right or wrong, and how you can model your steps from my mistakes and my learnings. So you can all hear me, right?
Yes, you can.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. So regardless, I have an outline for the presentation, and yeah, I think it's only right I share that. Um, a few minutes, this, and so I think we should be able to see my slide now. Okay, yeah.
Yes, we
So
can.
becoming an outstanding leader. Well, we would probably expect that I start with what is a leader, qualities of a leader, um, the leadership styles, and everything. But then for me, for us to actually have an in-depth view into what leadership might entail and the different situation that you can be a leader, I think it's just probably right we go into different contextual based situations that uh, a person has probably lived or acted in a leadership capacity. So let me bore you with my story. So my first experience of leadership has to be in as early as my primary school education, and my friends will always say that the leadership positions, or the way they term it, trouble always finds me, stress always finds me. Like we could be in a group, and in the first day I'm being selected as the leader of the group. Well, my story in University of Ibadan didn't start exactly like that. When we entered University of Ibadan, there's something called pharmacy course, which majority of you didn't meet. I think from Taiwo would attest to that. There was something called pharmacy course where class reps then were allegedly they don't pass 200 level. So all class reps repeated in 200 level, or they get sent out of the faculty. All class reps before me. Then that day, from Taiwo, someone from our class came down to our class knowledge level and spoke to us about the pharmacy course, the course, I mean CURSE, were trying to discourage us from taking leadership positions, that we should focus on our um, on our studies and the danger of taking a leadership position in pharmacy. Well, from the first day in pharmacy school, I created our class group. Even till now, the class group was created by me rather, and I gathered everybody together onto the group. We shared information, so it was like sort of expected that I will probably want to become the class rep. But then I didn't volunteer to become class rep because I just didn't really have the urge. I just wanted to get people together for ease, not because I wanted to take the position. So my friend Orialabi was the class rep. But then after the whole lecture of doom about leadership positions in pharmacy school and the pharmacy course, Ore resigned after a week and said he couldn't continue. He doesn't want to risk it. Then I became the class rep, and and yeah, I became the class rep. And for the very first time in honor level, we had 100% pass. We didn't lose anybody in honor level. That was me inspiring people to trust me and actually rightly guiding my class to the next level. One important thing about leadership is trust. Your followers. Oh, someone's hand is raised. Is it time for questions?
No, I think it's a mistake. But you can go ahead, please.
Okay. So, trust. So I was able to build trust in myself, and I was able to gain the trust of my class to at least follow. And I went on to become the first class rep to run 5 years without a receipt or a repeat, not even any academic issue. And I went on to create several other initiatives as a class rep, starting from that little push. So sometimes becoming a leader, there has to be a situation and an opportunity for it. And that opportunity presented itself, and I took it. And beyond taking opportunities, you have to be able to make wise use of the opportunity, because every leader has the opportunity. But then what they do with the opportunity is what's distinguished between an outstanding leader and a bad leader. I won't exactly call myself an outstanding leader, but then I was able to do outstanding things with the opportunity. So the 200 level came and the challenges came up. We started having people that weren't exactly interested in starting the journey as a leader because of the fear. But then they felt like, oh, since he's been able to actually cross on a level and he's doing well, probably they could do it too. And we started having issues with people who want to do better. And yes, one of the greatest challenge for a leader, there are actually two. It's criticism and resistance. And I would, as we go on, explain how criticism will come and how resistance would come, and how these challenges can also be opportunities for you to grow as a leader. Then my lecturers started calling me into their offices to discuss. Do you know what happened to the last class rep before you? Do you know what happened to the two class reps before you? Do you really want to continue this? Do you really want to do this? Blah, 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 blah. You have a good CGPA, you have this, you want to... I was scared, honestly. But then honestly, I felt like if I resign, it's more or less like me taking a risk and putting someone else at risk. Like, I would be resigning because I feel like, oh, I do not want to repeat. And that way I would never be able to tell if I could actually do it or not. And if I actually just resign and someone else takes it and the person ends up repeating or feeling badly, I would also feel the guilt that it was more or less like I saw a ditch and I let someone else fall into it, saving myself. And my story has never actually been around saving myself. It has always been about carrying the people around me along and everything I've done. So I create the opportunity to inspire people. Another quality of a good leader, you have to be able to inspire people to do things, and they have to see the trust in you. So we went in to 200 level, then 200 level came. I I passed 200 level without an issue. In fact, when the results came out, I was just walking on the stairs, and Professor Moody, and I met Professor Moody on the way, and he was like, 185486. That's a matric number, right? I mean, the lecturer already knows my matric number. Definitely, they were probably discussing results, and it was like close to the end of the second semester, and they were discussing results and everything, and I was so scared. And then a few minutes after, Professor Adegoke was saying 185486. Like, lecturers were calling me by my matric number, and it was very awkward, and I was scared. So I had to run to my staff advisor, Mrs. Oluremi then, and she was like, "Oh, that I shouldn't be scared. That I actually passed." And they were looking into results of student leaders in the faculty apart, and that was why probably a lot of people got to know my matric number during the sitting, because they had to separate results apart and make some comparison. So that went from 200 level down to my 500 level. There was never a point again where there was a threat of being impeached or anyone wanted to become the class rep, because there was a complete trust. And with trust comes ease. And you are even able to tell them things that you don't exactly believe in the result, but then you trust your gut and they will believe you. And this would actually eliminate one of the greatest challenge of leadership: resistance. There will be little resistance to your leadership if you are able to create trust. Then in my third year, we discovered that pharmacy students were all about books. We don't do things that have to do with research. We don't go out to impact life. We just want to read, do the marathon, and go home. And then pharmacy calendar was different from school calendar. So we're like the weird faculty. When everybody's done with the exam, that's when we are starting our own. So when the school is silent, that's when pharmacy is just starting exams, and we'll probably be the only set of people left in the school. So we're already like weird. Then I became the IPSF license officer. So we brought, I think, yes, majority of the things we did then, Taiwo was almost involved. Then we went for a global health course in Ife, and it spoke to us about global health pharmacy. And I think this was around 2016, 2017, how you can bring how pharmacy students can be leaders. Then they spoke to us about, oh, you are not being represented in IPSF. We don't do so much IPSF activities. Then I became IPSF license officer in University of Ibadan. Then afterwards, we created Pharmacostory Health Awareness Initiative. I, Omolayo, and Adebisi Yusuf. And this is it. As a leader, there has to be a vision, and your ability to communicate what the vision is to intending followers would actually determine how much you go, how far you go, and how well you are able to execute. It was exactly not my first time leading, but it was my first time of creating an initiative and trying to convince people to join in. So more or less, like I woke up, I had an idea, and I called Yusuf, and he was like, "Oh, let's meet at tennis course, SUB." Then we called the only lady that we discussed so much with, Omolayo, to join us at the tennis court, and she came down, and that was how we formed Pharmacostory Health Awareness Initiative. And the Pharmacostory Health Awareness Initiative was just to tell public health stories to tell stories about public health issues. So probably write articles that will talk about public health issues and put it out there. And started from University of Ibadan. Then we saw people from other school. From initially, people it was like mocked. The name was mocked. People like Pharmaco story. What is the meaning? Blah blah blah. Then from mockery, we saw people trying to buy into the idea. We started having people from other schools saying, "Oh, they want to start this in their school. How can they have a team in their school?" Then we had branches in OU, OAU, and other schools in the East. Then an opportunity came for me to go for IPSF contact person in Nigeria. That was in my third year, and because of the fact that we don't in UI we don't go all out for activities that are social. We are more academic inclined. I lost the election because we had less than 7 people from my school, and when my opponent from Uyo, they came with like 2 or 3 buses. I lost the election basically, but then losing the election brought another opportunity. Because from my manifesto, they felt like, oh, there's a lot of plans and they will still like me to implement. So after the whole elections, we call them stakeholders in PANS, the MVPs, the presidents, the ESCOs. They called us together and they said that, oh, Dami, you have to work with this person to implement your ideas because you have the ideas, she has the position, so you guys have to work together. Then my idea was to make Pharmaco Story go around all pharmacy schools in Nigeria, and we'll be able to mentor public health advocates over the years, such that when it comes to public health in Nigeria, it shouldn't just be about the medical students. It should be a cross-boundary and interdisciplinary approach where pharmacy students can always work with the medical students and we can collaborate on different issues. Then we created the National Public Health Committee. So that's why in my bio it reads that I'm the pioneer chairperson for National Public Health Committee. So we created the National Public Health Committee, and then we had just 18 pharmacy schools. Yeah, and we're able to kickstart at once in 16 pharmacy schools. Sometimes people trusting you with a leadership position has to not just be about the vision, there has to be a track record and the history. There was the history of me creating Pharmaco Story. There was the history of me being a class rep, and there are histories of me volunteering in position as a follower. So I mentioned something about being a follower. It's actually not every time that you start and become a leader. There are times that you become a follower, and your qualities as a follower makes you fit for a leadership position. So sometimes you can transcend from being just a follower to a leader. And yes, as a leader, know when to stop. It should not always be about you. So the PANS Public Health Committee, despite the fact that I was in my 400 level when we started, I could have chosen to go to continue as the chairperson till I graduated. After my 1 year, I handed over to someone else in another school so we can have continuity. So me holding the position was just not about me creating something. It was about me creating a sustainable program. And now you hear about the PANS Public Health Committee or PANS Public Health team in close to 25 schools in Nigeria. They are having chairpersons every year. And even this year was the first time a chairperson is going 2 years. And before the decision was made, I was called, despite the fact that I left the seat, I think sometimes 2018. The relevance of the blueprints created then still matters. And I'm still being involved in part of their decision-making processes. So I'm still leading, but then I'm not actively leading. So you could still contribute to the success of a team, of a program as a leader and passively. And leadership doesn't have to be just about you. Sometimes you could lead the growth of an initiative, and your leadership doesn't even stop when you just leave the position. So there is a position that might come with leadership. You can become a leader rather by virtue of holding a position, and you can still become a leader without a position being attached to it. And yeah, so during this process also we had our first opportunity of presenting a research abstract. Then I think we're the first set of pharmacy students that left the country to present a research abstract. So we wrote a research abstract in our 300 level at ABC. We won the Melinda Gates travel scholarship to present at World Health Student Symposium. And the travel scholarship didn't exactly cover our flight. It covered transport. It covered hotel and registration. It didn't cover our flight. So I was going to give up. Then something else about leadership, leverage. To create opportunities for people that are following you and to create trust, you have to be able to leverage your position. And I was able to leverage my position to speak with a sub-dean. And 3 days before we left the country, before the window was going to close, I was just told to call the VC. Like, why can't you call the VC on phone and tell the VC you want to present your abstract, you were invited, you want this scholarship, and see if he would sponsor. And it was it was literally impossible. But then I picked my phone. I called the VC then, and I was like, "Where are you?" I said, "I'm in pharmacy, in the faculty." He said, "Come and see me right now." I went to his office straight up. This is probably like it happened like a miracle. And he said, "Oh, he called the special advisor and was like, get this boy's tickets. He's traveling to Rwanda." And I was like, we have some other people that want to go. Will you be able to sponsor them too? And I think that day we called like 4 other 5 pharmacy students that went to Rwanda with us, fully sponsored. And Taiwo was actually one of us then. From Taiwo went with us. Normally we call that Taiwo Fire to Rwanda, and everything was fully sponsored. And that is you leveraging your leadership position, because you can't be a leader without an output. You can't be a leader without a specific impact. And it's the track record of things you have done that will create opportunities for you to do other things. We go back from Rwanda, then the future started when I didn't know. Then that was when One Voice Initiative invited me to become a member of their board. I became a member of OVI board as a director of research and policy advocacy. A director while I was still in school. I didn't even know what it meant, but then they didn't have anything R&D. And Adebayo Yinka just trusted that, okay, I will be able to create an R&D. I call it R&D, research and development. But what we do basically is research and policy advocacy. So I didn't have experience creating an R&D team, but I definitely have an experience leading people. So we created a research team, we created a monitoring and evaluation team, and created a grants and proposal team. So I used my knowledge in research to start applying for grants. Then we started winning grants. That was what led to the several other grants with OVI. And yeah, the Innovate for AMR competition that Yusuf Adebisi, Tim Lenny, and Adeola also won while we were in school. And one thing I also want to add is that most times when we take the leadership positions, we don't have everything figured out. You don't have to be the best man on the team to be the leader of the team. By virtue of my work with One Voice Initiative, this year we're sponsored to Ethiopia by UNICEF and African Union for a youth advocacy meeting. And after the meeting, they said we should just present random policy ideas. And we just had a seat, and the Nigerian team agreed that, oh, I should represent the Nigerian team to present. And I presented. And from the presentation, me not even preparing, I became the country lead for youth advocates for AU UNICEF in Nigeria. And I can tell you that out of every one of them on the team, I was the only one that was not a founder. I was just a director of a department. They were all youth founders of one organization or the other. We even had a US consulate group alumni. He was well grounded. Like, his organization is running hundreds of thousands of grants per year, and he was one of the people that actually said, "Oh, Tammy should lead this team." And because of the fact that I understand the fact that I am not the best on the team, despite being the leader of the team, there is a complete plain level ground for us to learn from each other. And right now, I work with each and every one of them as individuals in their organization, and I'm able to probably just get a call. Hey, Tamilola, we want to do M&E. Can you do it? This is the pay. An opportunity to lead is creating other opportunities for me. And this would always be because of track record, your visible outputs, your vision, and your ability to always be prepared to take opportunities, because it's not every time that these opportunities will come to you on a platter. Now, to possible challenges. It's never easy becoming a leader, and I'll tell you, not everybody must become a leader. But then, because I always believe that to drive any cause forward, we need both the followers and the leaders. But then, to become an outstanding leader, you have to be well aware of who you are first and what your limits are. It's only when you understand your limits that you can actually be able to actually understand other people's limits. And for you to work together with any team, you have to understand everybody's weakness and strengths. And it's your ability to put together everybody's weakness and strengths that will determine if you are able to create a team that complements each other, or a team that will work distinctly. No bond. I currently, this year I created Alliance for Healthy Africa, to sort of create an alliance for youths to come together and solve problems in Africa. And we have been focusing on sexual and reproductive health issues. In the organization, in the team, we have different youth leaders, different professionals, zoology, pharmacy, lawyers, doctors, and we have people that don't even speak English as their first language. But then before I started, I was able to, I would say I did poaching. Like, I went to people's DM and I was like, oh, I've worked with you in the past and you can do this, blah, blah, blah. And this is the vision. This is what I want you to do. This is the task. Can you do this? And with that, I was able to string together a team of 15 individuals who are actually doing great things. And in the space of 3 weeks of us being together, we just applied for an Akatin. 2 weeks of preparation. We were flown to Abuja as top three for the Akatin, and it was on family planning. I might be the glue that brings everybody together, but then I'm not the strongest link in the team. And my ability to always know that in every team I'm selected, because majority of my leadership position has been by selection. In every team I'm selected to lead, I am there to act as the glue. I'm not there to boss anybody. And I obviously know my weakness, when to stop and when to continue. Thank you very much. This is my leadership story, and I hope in this short story of mine, you've been able to pick one or two things to learn and to probably impact one or two things in your own story. In the next 2, 3, 4 years, I hope I'll be attending a session like this, listening to you, facilitating us on how to become an outstanding leader. Thank you very much.
Wow. Amazing. Thank you very much, pharmacist Damilola Kazim Olaoye. We are so grateful for these lessons. I mean, I remember there was a point you talked about how you decided to lead your class through pharmacy school and the exploits. I mean, when I got into Ibadan pharmacy, I heard about the exploits performed by pharmacist Damilola Olaoye, and I was impressed. And I mean, it was one of the things that actually, you know, changed my perspective about leadership and to be intentional about leading across organizations in pharmaceutical. And one of those ways is, what I'm doing here at CCVP as a student representative. And I'm grateful for the fact that you walked through this journey of pharmacy school. You've shared insights on your journey. And we as well would, take up the initiative to do this as well. Thank you very much, from Dami Olaoye. So right about now, before we take our questions, we'd like to take the second, is there anybody with a question before we go ahead with the second section? We'll still take our questions even in the second session, after the second session. If there's any question, just take one before we proceed to the next one. Anybody who has a question? All right. Okay, so right about now, we'll proceed to the second session. And this one is by someone I really respect, and someone who I've worked with. I remember before I got into Ibadan pharmacy and I met Fam Taiwo Olaweyimi, and shared the story, and it was just a life-changing point for me, because I felt, okay, pharmacy, let's just go through the program and then move on. And then she shared how they represented the Faculty of Pharmacy, I mean, Panzia L&D, the Trinity Society, at events, especially Jowo, which is the biggest publishing competition. And that really motivated me. And within 3 years of being in pharmacy school, I'd spoken at Jowo, and, I've done other things as well. And I can really testify that the stories of people who have gone ahead can actually push you to do better. Most people just think that, oh, they have all these things, but trust me, you need to learn from people who have been through this journey of pharmacy school. And Fam Taiwo is one of them. She's someone you would love to listen to today. And I'm sure you will learn a whole lot from her story as well. So, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome with me pharmacist Taiwo Olaweyimi. Thank you very much for joining us. Okay, we can hear you. Can you unmute your mic?
Okay, great. Thank you very much. I'm very grateful for the opportunity to speak with you all today. And well done, Dami. That was a beautiful presentation. I was right here nodding in alignment to practically everything that you said. And I think it's also because that we have shared experiences. We both attended UI. We engaged in similar activities. Dami and I were in the Faculty of Pharmacy Debate Society. In fact, when I was coordinator of the Faculty of Pharmacy Debate Society, Damilola was my deputy. He was my deputy at the University of Ibadan. So we've come a long way. I remember when we went to Rwanda together, the World Healthcare Student Symposium. It was such a leap of faith, like he said. In fact, me joining the team was by providence because I wasn't with the team during the planning stage. I just met them along the way, and I decided to tag along. And I'm grateful that even though it was such a challenging process, we're able to make it happen. And yes, we got to Rwanda and we leveraged that opportunity for many more things. And that's one thing that Damilola spoke about. Leadership can be such a good leverage. Leadership can be such a good leverage. And I'll also talk about it in the course of my presentation. The fact that you should have a goal for every leadership platform that you occupy so that you can build upon the learnings of previous experiences, not only to be a better person, but also to harness better opportunities for yourself. So I will share my screen shortly. All right, all right. Oh, pardon me. Oh, here it is. Great. Please confirm that you can see my screen. Can you see my screen?
Yes, we can. Thank you.
Okay.
Yes, we can.
Great. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Yes, thank you very kindly for the introduction. Yeah. So I was a student just like you all a few years ago, right? And many things that I do right now are an offshoot of the things I committed myself to doing as a student. Like I said, I was in the debate team. So now it's not a surprise that I empower early and mid-career professionals on public speaking because I did that as a student. I led the team. Oh, I was a part of supporting organizations, volunteering with a few organizations, and some of those things helped me to develop interest in certain areas of practice like policy making, advocacy, and research. That has helped me even now that post pharmacy school. So it's very important that you realize that the things that you do in school can form a great foundation for the things that you will do after pharmacy school. That's why it's important to work with clarity, whether it's to volunteer with organizations or lead organizations as the frontliner, whatever you choose to commit yourself to doing in school. You should be intentional about those things. You should be deliberate about those things to ensure that they align with your interests. And that will ultimately help you to build the foundation that you can build upon, even post pharmacy school. Because this is a very important subject of leadership, I think it's important to hear from you. What is leadership to you? Can we have one or two people who can unmute themselves and tell me what is leadership to you? What is leadership to you? If we could be brief. Okay.
Okay, to me, good evening.
Good
Good evening,
evening.
Famtaiwo.
Good
Thank
evening.
you. Okay, to me, I think leadership is an opportunity to impact into the life of others, being able to display some level of skills and then being able to help others too to grow alongside with it.
Impact, helping others to
Yeah.
grow. Very good. Very good. Very good. Good leadership is impactful to other people. Good leadership helps others to grow. Good leaders make other leaders, actually. Great leaders make other leaders. So thank you so much for that. Can we have one more person share their thoughts with us? What is leadership to you? Who will share their thoughts with us? I want to hear you. Sadly, because I can't easily transition to the comment section. So it would be better to just hear you speak. All right. One more person want to share their thoughts with us. What is leadership to you? Please go on and unmute yourself.
Go ahead, Mary.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. So leadership is the ability to influence or inspire a set of people to achieve a vision as regards a goal as well.
Mm. Influence, inspire, achieve a goal. Very, very important, right? Very
Vision.
important. Vision. To influence people. Leadership is influence. I will be sharing some popular definitions of leadership, and you find that influence is critical. Think about the leaders that you admire. If the leader is not able to even motivate, inspire you to commit to the task, look at what Damilola said. He gathered a group of people with similar interests, inspired them to commit to a vision, and he started his initiative. And they went on to get selected for a family planning grant, right? The family planning hackathon. Do you see? That was the goal of the project or of that short-term project, right? He inspired them to work together towards that project and even towards their bigger goal of driving access and uh, playing a role in policy advocacy, right? In sexual and reproductive health. That's the bigger goal. And he gathered those people to commit their abilities and their skills and their intellect to achieve that. Some of us have that capacity to inspire people. Sometimes it's as a result of our communication skills. When you speak, people want to listen. Maybe some of us are not quite uh, extroverted, or we're not quite articulate when we speak. So, because of that seeming weakness, we also shy away, even though we have a burning passion and we have that kind of spirit. We can deliver whatever we set our hearts to. So, because of that seeming weakness, we shy away. Oh my God, I don't think I'm a good fit for a leader. No, that's not true. Not every leader is extroverted. Not every leader has sound communication skills. However, that can be a great advantage. That's why you should improve yourself on that area. But ultimately, when you have a passion to do and you have an ability to help people to see a bigger vision, you should consider yourself a leader. And in fact, everyone has that capacity. Indeed, everyone should consider themselves leaders. So do not disqualify yourself from leadership opportunities. And you find that there are many opportunities to lead. Damilola mentioned that he has been a leader on many occasions as a result of selection. Some of us may prefer leadership by appointment. I was appointed coordinator of the debate society. I had an opportunity to serve on the electoral committee for pharmacy students for about 3 years in pharmacy school. I was nominated for that position. And after some time, I started to only desire leadership positions by appointment. I ran away from leadership by election. I told myself, who am I to go on and begin to beg for votes? I'm not that kind of person. Would you believe that about 2 years post pharmacy school, I ran for an election as the public relations officer of the Young Pharmacist Group in Lagos? Guess who won? I did. And of course, for that kind of opportunity, you need a lot of strategy, stakeholder engagement, speaking the language of the people. Your camaraderie also shows forth, your charisma shows forth, because you want to be likable. These are some strategies that we need to put in mind. It's not only being able to talk. There are certain strategies you need to put in place if you want to be liked, if you want to be trusted enough to be followed by people. So ultimately, there is a leadership opportunity for everyone. We should all consider ourselves leaders, right? Another, these are quotes that I was able to gather, right? Because I think that they provide many of the popularly accepted meanings of leadership. And John C. Maxwell is somebody that I really, really love. I had read his book on leadership, The 360-Degree Leader. I read that in 200 level. And that book etched an unforgettable memory in my mind. It's changed my perspective of leadership. I think you should read it, The 360-Degree Leader. It talks about the fact that leadership is not only positional, and in fact, positional leadership is the lowest form of leadership. There is inspirational leadership, transformational leadership. You can lead from the middle. You don't even need to be the one at the forefront. You can lead wherever you are. So for those of us who think that we need a position before we can lead, that book will debunk some of the misconceptions that you have. So please read it. And I like this meaning. Being a great leader is all about having a genuine willingness and a true commitment to lead others. Dami had that. That's why he chose to lead his class as class rep, even though he knew the imminent danger of that leadership position, because it's such an enormous responsibility and pharmacy school is such a rigorous program. One could easily derail from academic focus, and one could predispose to receipts or even a repeat. So leadership is such a burden. However, the great leaders are leaders who choose to sacrifice themselves in spite of the burdens of leadership. They are willing, they are committed to lead others to achieve a common vision. And it's through positive influence, really. You cannot be an effective leader if you do not drive influence with the people that you serve, with the people that you lead. Leadership is influence. So some persons may not necessarily be good leaders. They may be bad leaders. Adolf Hitler, for instance, bad leader, but he had influence. So beware what you use your influence for. Peter Drucker is the father of management. If you're passionate about management, he's somebody whose books you should read. And he spoke about leadership as well, saying leadership is lifting a man's vision to higher heights. Wow. Wow. Lifting a man's vision to higher heights, making somebody to believe what is possible. Inspirational leadership. Some of us are drawn to certain people because they make us to believe a vision. They help us to see what is possible. They help us to see what is possible even in ourselves. My CEO is a great leader. She believes so much in you than you even believe in yourself. She would hand over tasks to you, tasks that you could never imagine that you could deliver on. And you'll be better for it when you commit yourself to the process. Leadership is raising a man's performance to higher standard. So when you lead a team, how are you building your team? How are you helping your teammates to get better? How are you handing over opportunities to grow to other people on your team so that they can be better? Remember what I said? Great leaders make other leaders. So do you only want to be at the forefront of the vision without helping, making other people to be collaborators, co-visioners with you? Leadership is the building of a man's personality beyond its normal limitations. When you think of leadership, think, what kind of leader would you like to be? Stephen Covey wrote the 21, was it the one? No, John C. Maxwell wrote that, 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership. That's also another book that you should read, right? Stephen Covey is also a well-respected leadership expert and author. And he wrote, leadership is communicating to another person their worth, their potential so clearly that they are inspired to see it in themselves, So good. So good. Don't be in a hurry to call yourself, yeah, we are leaders, but don't be in a hurry to wear that tag, because it is a title of responsibility. It's not easy to be a leader. You're responsible not only for yourself, but also for others. So tell me, who is that one person that you admire as a leader and why? Can we have one or two people? Tell us. You can unmute your mic. Tell us, who is that one person that you admire as a leader and why? Unmute. Anyone want to try? Can be someone, can be your classmate, right? Doesn't have to be someone in a very high position. And yes, be somebody in a high position, can be a popular person, can be somebody in your family, can be your daddy, really, as a leader in the home. Tell us, who is that person you admire as a leader and why? Anyone want to
Good,
try?
good evening.
Good evening.
Yeah, my name is Fem Melainka. I admire Miles Moron
Why?
because of his charisma. The
You
way
never even
he,
met him. You never even met him, but
I
of course,
love,
I,
I
I
love the
think you're
way,
talking based on what you have read of him. But go on.
yeah. So I love the way he articulates himself and
Mm, mm,
the way he uses the scripture
mm.
to lead. So that's what I like about
Very
him.
good. Articulate communication. Very good. Thank you for that, Farami. Can we have another person? Who is that one person you admire as a leader and why?
Good evening, ma.
Good evening.
Yes, ma. So I admire Peter Obi. I know he's a
LP.
politician, but listening to him, listening to him made I was inspired by the way he talks when he's
Mm,
talking, he gives statistics, and the way I
mm,
could sense his vision, the all the
mm,
consumption to I mean from consumption to production,
mm,
everything that he was saying was really
mm.
I was able to like capture it. Yes, ma.
Lovely, lovely, lovely. You could see that this person's a visionary person, right? He has plans for the nation. So you could tell that. So based on what we will admire of people, of leaders, let's think about how to translate that even into our own leadership style. So you admire Peter Obi. When next you have an opportunity to lead, how can you translate that visionary mindset in what you do? Damilola, for instance, displayed exemplary leadership, right? Through the vision that he communicated with this team, want to raise pharmacy students who are public health experts so that we can raise a public health sector in Africa, or yes, in Africa, for instance, where the public health experts are not only from one profession. We want our public health system to be made up of interdisciplinary professionals, doctors, nurses, pharmacists, lawyers. There is a lawyer I follow on LinkedIn who is into healthcare policy. So you find that even non-healthcare professionals are venturing into healthcare. So that was his big vision. So even though Famako story, yeah, it was operational just for a few years. You can see that Damilola still burned with that great desire, and he has transitioned that even into his current initiative that is still poised to improve public health awareness and drive policy advocacy on sexual and reproductive health. You can tell that Damilola is actually a very visionary person and he has staying power. Some people do one thing, stop, and they are not committed to drive the vision. So there's a lot of lessons to learn from Damilola's story. Do you see? Okay. Thank you, both of you, for sharing your thoughts with us. So, one thing that is critical in leading others is that you first must lead yourself. How do you want to lead other people when you cannot lead yourself? Tell me how? No way. No way. You've got to be able to lead yourself. Yes, lead others. Even when you get to the workplace or you are even an employee. Yes, you're an employee or simply a follower. You should be able to lead up as well and lead your subordinates. So you're leading above, leading horizontally, right? You're leading those beneath you, leading those above you. You would wonder, how will I lead my boss? My boss is my boss. It's gladly in being proactive, in sharing visionary ideas. Also, when you are assigned tasks, you reach out to your boss to say, "Oh, ma'am, I'm currently on the task that you have assigned to me. I'm going to delay by a day or two because I'm stuck on the task that you assigned to me." Things like that. Proactive communication, sharing ideas. When you're in the meeting, you're not keeping mute, you're sharing ideas. You're in fact you're in fact trying to push the boundaries of their own knowledge through your own intellectual curiosity, sharing things that they had not even thought of. You're leading your subordinates, supporting them. You see, leadership is service. So when you lead your subordinates, For instance, when you support them in their tasks, you're also leading. Some of them would actually, they will actually align with you in certain instances because they respect how you think. They would align to your authority on a subject matter because of how you have interacted with them. That means that interpersonal relationships is key to leadership, especially when we want to lead our peers and we want to lead our subordinates. You want to be liked as a leader, right? It doesn't mean that you accept bullshit every time. But you also want to be somebody who is a people person that people can relate with in an effective manner. So think about building your interpersonal skills. Very important. But most importantly, lead yourself. Because on days when you do not have a leadership position, would you then think that you're not a leader? No, you are. You have the capacity to lead. You have the capacity to lead yourself. So how do you lead yourself? Do you have personal goals? Do you have personal values that you align by? Because when you do not have personal values, how then can you lead a value-driven organization? Very important. So I came across this personal leadership canvas that I found quite interesting. And it really helps you to understand yourself personally as an individual. Self-awareness is critical to self-leadership. If you do not know your values, like I mentioned, if you do not know what your stressors are, you wouldn't be emotionally intelligent. When people say certain things, it would annoy you, irritate you, and almost make you to act out of character because you haven't been able to manage your emotions. So it's important to know who you are so that you can lead people better. What are the deep-seated mental models that you have that have impacted your behavior? Some of us, it's our childhood experiences, our family experiences that have impacted our beliefs about ourselves and how we do what we do. You need to do that self-reflection to know yourself better. What's your unique perspective? If you don't think that you have a voice, it will be difficult for you to communicate your thoughts and ultimately lead other people. What are your strengths? What are your weaknesses? What's your purpose? What inspires you? What are your beliefs? When you know yourself better, it becomes easier to lead others. And like we have shared about leaders that we admire, yes, we admire leaders who are articulate in their communication. We admire leaders who are visionary. We admire leaders who are problem solvers. Many of us look up to our leaders to solve the problems. We want leaders who are supportive of us. You also, as a leader, want to be somebody who can support the people that you work with. You want to ensure that when your teammates reach out to you to say they have a challenge with the task, you're able to support them or co-create the solution with your team. In the end, you don't only need to be at the front. Sometimes, like Damilola said, he serves as a glue on his team. You need to be the one who catalyzes the action, who catalyzes the creative thinking on your team. That's what makes you a leader. Driving inspiration on your team. A good leader is adaptable because different situations or circumstances will require different reactions or actions. How you would even manage somebody or manage a situation could differ depending on the person in question. So emotional intelligence is definitely important. A good leader commits to developing others. It could involve delegation of tasks. Look at Damilola talking about his experience at One Voice Initiative. He is not the founder. The founder is committed to building other leaders. That's why he can assign roles to people on the team. He can trust them to deliver. He can entrust responsibilities onto them. He can say, oh, Damilola, the organization will sponsor you to so and so country to go and represent us. But you also have to do a lot of work to ensure that you can be entrusted certain responsibilities. As a follower, how are you building yourself? How are you communicating what you know? If we don't know that you are capable, if we do not think that you're capable, why would we delegate to you? So you also have to show up and shine, even in the little things that you are assigned, so that when bigger opportunities come, you can be called upon because you have made a mark. Good leaders are decisive and are reflective. Sometimes some situations require tough decisions. And as leaders, you need to be able to take such firm decisions. Leadership is hard work. So, what are some misconceptions that you have about leadership? As students, some of us may think, oh my God, I'm going to fail. I'm going to fail. Pharmacy school is so tough. Why then put myself in trouble by taking on additional responsibilities? I tell you, you'll be better for it. You will be better for it. Many opportunities I've been able to harness and access post pharmacy school because I committed myself to personal development in school. So I know certain things that my colleagues do not know because I committed myself to those experiences. Failing in pharmacy school sometimes is as a result of time mismanagement. So you need to think about that. And when you engage in leadership opportunities or leadership positions, it also helps you to build capacity. Don't you someday want to be MD of a pharmaceutical organization? Don't you someday want to be lead sales manager, chief commercial officer, lead quality assurance lead, lead policy professional, and so on and so forth? These are leadership opportunities within healthcare organizations. You will not get there and you will not thrive in those positions merely because you have a B farm or a PharmD. No. PharmD is just one. It's basic. It's foundational. But what about your soft skills? Leadership is a critical soft skill for anybody who wants to excel professionally. So why shy away from leadership? It gives you more benefits. So if you have any misconceptions about leadership, it's time to begin to ditch them. It's time to begin to rethink. Okay, is the problem my perspective or not? So I'd like to hear from you. What are some reasons why you think some people shy away from leadership opportunities or leadership positions? Let's hear from you. Please unmute your mic. What are some wrong notions or wrong perspectives that you think some students have that hinders them from taking up leadership positions? Or what are some misconceptions that you also have, or some beliefs that you have that have hindered you from taking up leadership positions? I'd like to hear from us.
Good evening.
Hello.
It's
Good evening.
Phil. So I want to say that leadership position, like my own misconception is that it's not for the introverted.
Mm, mm, interesting. Thank you so much for that. Any other person?
For me, I would
Eh,
say
Are you speaking? We can't hear you clearly.
okay, I would say for me the fear of being intimidated or feeling inferior.
I can't hear you clearly.
That is the fear of being intimidated or inferior.
Okay, fear of being intimidated or inferior. Intimidated by what? Being inferior to
Um,
whom?
I think to fellow colleagues, like in terms of sharing some ideas or so.
Mm, okay. Okay, thank you so much for that. Let's have one more person share with us misconceptions that they have with regards to leadership. Why are you reluctant to take on leadership positions? Tell me. Anybody? Anybody else? Let's hear a female. We've had two males. Gender equality. Let's have a female. Where are the females in the house?
Okay, so let me represent the female. So
Thank you,
one
Jerry.
misconception is that as a leader, you should know everything about everything, and then you
Mm,
have to have the entire skills before you lead or you can lead.
mm. Thank you so much for that. Know everything about everything and have the full complement of skills. Wow. Thank you so much for sharing your thoughts, dears. And these are true misconceptions, real misconceptions that people grapple with. You, I think my time is almost up, right? Oh my. All right, let me try to round off. You don't need to know everything about everything. Nobody is an island of knowledge. Think about it. Don't put pressure on yourself. I think that's a good place to start. Don't put pressure on yourself. Look at the leaders that you even admire. Do they know everything about everything? No. The quality of a good leader is having an eye for good people that they can recruit into their team. To say, okay, I know this person's capabilities, or I can hand over certain tasks to this person. That's why a good leadership quality is delegation. Who are you delegating to? Members of your team who are as equipped as you are, or even better equipped than you are. So please don't pressure yourself thinking that you have to know everything about everything or that you need to have full complement of skills. No, what do you need to be a leader? Belief in yourself, clear vision, and an ability to inspire people to get the job done. These are basic skills that you need. And these are basic skills that we have. Maybe you don't need to inspire your entire class. Maybe it's just a small group of people, 2 persons, 3 persons. I started Pharma Incubation Hub, which is a career accelerator for pharmacy students across Africa, a mentorship program for pharmacy students. And I started that initiative with 3 of my friends. We're all in one in the room of one of us, isn't it? Right there in pharmacy school, final year, preparing for our final exams. And we started. 4 of us. I didn't start it with my entire class in pharmacy school. I didn't start it with 100 of persons. I didn't start it with 50 persons. We're only 4. Sometimes it could be only you. Do you believe enough in your vision? Can you communicate that vision to people? Can you show people indeed why this thing is worth doing, worth committing to? That's all you need. Sometimes people will even tell you, no, it doesn't make sense. You shouldn't do it. Why are you doing it? Sometimes you need to believe in yourself to go against the grain. Belief. Belief. You need to be tenacious. Do you see? You don't need to have everything together. No, however, you need to be committed to learning and committed to improvements every step of the way. That's what you need. Teachability is a key attribute of great leaders. It's a key attribute of outstanding leaders. Somebody said fear of intimidation or being inferior to colleagues. That, you see, self-awareness, self-leadership will help you in that. Some people worry, oh my God, I don't have the brightest of ideas. Stop second guessing yourself. And it's a reason why many people feel shy. They don't talk in public. They don't have good communication skills because they worry about what people will say. And this is one thing I tell my clients when I coach them on public speaking. I tell them an opportunity to speak in public is an opportunity to share your thoughts, your very interesting, innovative thoughts. It's not a performance endeavor. Nobody is out there trying to grade who is more intelligent or who is more cerebral. No, nobody is trying to put you on a pedestal to say you scored 10 over 20 in this idea sharing process. No, when you engage people, when you speak in public, it's really an opportunity to share your thoughts. Think about it. We're right here in this session. Are you trying to grade me as I'm speaking? Did you grade Damilola as he was speaking? No, you simply wanted to learn what he was talking about. You simply wanted to listen to his ideas, right? That's how it is. Every time you open your mouth to speak, it's an opportunity to share your thoughts. And that's what communication is all about. Sharing your perspective on a subject matter. If you get fixated on people's thoughts, you will never get anything done. So why limit your success because you are more fixated on what people think and not fixated on what your own ideas are? Look at Damilola, who spoke about his experience at the conference he attended. He shared very intelligent thoughts. Yeah, not because he was trying to prove I too know. No, he was sharing his thoughts. The people found it quite interesting. And he was appointed the AU UNICEF ambassador, right? That's what you think about, the opportunities you will get when you choose to be bold enough to speak. Think about that. Those opportunities are way more than what anybody would think. And you keep limiting yourself from accessing those opportunities because you are focusing on the minors. So choose to focus on the major. An opportunity to speak is an opportunity to share your thoughts. It's an opportunity to access incredible opportunities that you never would have accessed if you never spoke up. Isn't that worth motivating you to speak up next time? Please speak up. Speak up. And the other person said, leadership is for the introverted. Some people think that way. It's the extroverts who will do better. Do you know that many people are extroverted? Maybe they don't even have something to say as intelligent as you do, but because they have that braggadocio, that confidence, people will believe them, people will like them. And you will keep preventing yourself from being heard because you think that you don't have something intelligent to say, because you think that you are introverted. Why not think about it this way? Yes, you may not be a talkative, you don't talk a lot, but why not push yourself to talk and ensure that every time you open your mouth to speak, you make it count. So, and you know, when you speak, you don't need to speak for hours. It could be for a minute. It could be for 30 seconds. Make sure that anything you say in those 30 seconds, in that 1 minute, make sure it counts. Make sure it makes sense. And that's enough to make a difference. So please, don't think that leadership is only for the extroverted. It is for anybody who believes enough in themselves, who believes enough in your ideas, who believes enough in their vision, and who can share that, who can be bold enough to share that with other people. I hope that helps. All right. As we round off, you must realize that there are opportunities to lead around you. Yes, you may not start out as the frontliner, but you can start by sharpening your skills so that one day, your preparation will meet up with the opportunity when it presents itself. And right there in pharmacy school, you have the debate team, you have the press club, you have Enactus, you have JCI, you have NGOs that you can volunteer with. You can also start up your own NGO. You have your professional association. IPSF is there. When you graduate from pharmacy school, YPG is there, Young Pharmacist Group. I started out as editorial coordinator before then becoming public relations officer. And there are remote opportunities to also lead. We live in a digital era. Why are you not maximizing technology? Tell me why. So opportunities are all around you. Within your class, volunteer to lead a project, volunteer to speak in class. Volunteer to collect the assignments for submission to the class rep. Volunteer to lead the fundraiser for your final year project. Volunteer to be the lead editor on your final year magazine. Volunteer to serve on the final year symposium team. Do you see? Opportunities abound. You just need to declutter your mind and open up yourself to the immense possibilities and opportunities of leadership. And it's important that you grow because you cannot give what you do not have. If you do not build yourself as an individual, you cannot be an effective leader. Yes, start with volunteering, but it's not just about the position. It's about learning the skills. It's about building the knowledge. It's about building your understanding so that we can share very relevant ideas on the team. It's about building your self-knowledge, self-awareness, self-leadership. It's about also creating opportunities to lead. They say, if there is no seat at the table, create your own table. Isn't that what we say? If you do not see opportunities in existing organizations, why not start something? Why not start a campaign? And for everything that you choose to commit to, have a goal, have a why. This way you become strategic so that you will not waste your time. Because it is in wasting your time that then you will fail at school because you had misalignment in your priorities. So get the basics right. And for every opportunity that you commit yourself to, leverage those opportunities. Look at Damilola. I will keep referring to Damilola, right? Because Damilola leveraged his leadership experience at IPSF in PANS as the public health lead, right? And he leveraged that opportunity and the networks for other things that he went on to do post-pharmacy school. See him winning grants, international grants left, right, and center. It didn't start in one day. But he can win those big things because he started small. Emotional intelligence is also critical. because you are interacting with people of different personalities, people of different tribes. Look at him, the people on his team are from other African countries as well. Some of them don't even speak English. Emotional intelligence is critical for success as a leader. And ultimately, you cannot sacrifice yourself on the altar of others without building yourself first. You cannot pour water out of an empty jar. So you must be committed to personal growth and development. And every time, seek to deliver value. What are the gaps? What are the problems? How can we solve the problem? How can we deliver the solution? That's what makes you a leader. A leader is a problem solver. So in all that you do, you must realize that yes, leaders are influential, but much more than the influence, what do you do with the influence? You must use the influence to serve. I hope that you will be proactive about seeking out opportunities to lead, opportunities to serve, so that when the influence comes, you will use it right. I wish you the very best in your leadership journey. Thank you very much.
Wow. Thank you very much, Pharmacist Taiwola Wayne. We're so grateful. That's a whole lot. Very, very intense. Very, very intense. Trust me. It's not easy. Trust me. It's not. You've shared a whole lot of points tonight that I know that pharmacy students across Nigeria, especially those on this session, will be able to relate with and proceed to actually, take actions. Thank you very much, ma. All right, about now we are actually close to the end of the session. About 2 minutes left, and we'll take just one or two questions before the end of this session. If you have a question, please do ask. We'd like to take just one or two questions, and then we're done for today. Anybody that has a question? Any question in the chat box? Let me see. All right. I think we do not have any question. That's I think we'll have to wrap it up here for today's session.
If they don't have a question, let me ask a question slash throw a challenge to them. So out of
All right.
everyone here who has listened to Damilola and I, if you are not currently occupying a leadership position, right? So tell me one thing that has changed in your perspective of leadership and what you will do differently based on what you have learned today. Anybody? Let's hear from you. Because the goal isn't just to hear these things. The goal is to inspire us to act, right? The goal is to inspire us to act. So tell me what you're going to do differently in your leadership journey based on what you have learned today. Go on, you can
Good
unmute
evening.
your mic. Farami
Yeah,
is the most active. TCPP, please, you must give Farami a prize. Oh, Farami has been the most active, and that's a sign of leadership. Some of us say, oh, I'm introverted. Nobody will listen to what I'm saying. But this is where it starts. So, Farami, well done.
thank
Go
you, ma.
on.
So what I learned is that anybody can be a leader. Anybody can be a leader. So I learned that, and it's not for introverted persons. It's for everybody. So I think that's what I learned.
Okay, great, great, great. So, what will you do differently? Different action points, Nikoko. Action points, Nikoko. So, what will you do differently based on what you have learned today?
Well, I'll try to develop myself in house. Like I will build the sense of character. I think everything boils with the character you have, so that you'll
Mm.
be able to manage other people. So, and the process you go through, the process and the character you build along with whatever you are trying to lead. So I think I'll build on my sense of character, and I'll build myself up. so that I can hold any leadership position. I up through taking little tasks in class and all those, so that I can actually build myself for a better position.
Well done. Good job. Good job. Well done, Farame. I see there's a question in the chat for Damilola.
All right, I think let's just that. I think that would be the only
Okay.
question we will take because yeah. Okay, from them, you can proceed, sir.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, I can answer. I would pause. I would just mute myself. Yeah. Sorry, I'm in another meeting. Yeah. Okay. So, how do you manage people of different interests? On where you? Oh, okay. So, um, okay, this is it. It's possible that different people in a team have different interests, but then there's always an alignment, like a point of intersection. Okay, so I'm currently in a. I'll use just one example, and might not be exactly research. So I'm currently in a team of people that we have people interested in female genital mutilation. We have people interested in child marriage. People interested in maybe rape, gender-based violence. But then the point of intersection for all of us is harmful practices. So if we all come together, whatsoever we will be doing will be focused on harmful practices. And the importance of bringing people with different perspective and interests is they bring a diverse experience and a diverse point of thought into your project. If we, it's always very good to say, okay, everybody, we're working on oncology, and everyone is has a research interest in oncology. But then, if you are working on oncology and you have someone that probably just wants has a deep interest in sexual and reproductive health, that kind of person can just bring um, an area of sexual and reproductive health that makes your research completely different. There was a time that we got an oncology grant from Pfizer, and all of them, they were all doctors, oncologists. And I was asking, because I love infectious diseases a lot, and I was asking Dr. Jimo then that, don't you think the infections can probably lead to breast cancer? And it was like, they thought about it once and blah blah. I started looking at papers, and we saw that there's a there has been reports of viruses causing breast cancer. And if this is true, for a company like Pfizer that produce vaccines, they can start to produce vaccines that can lead to prevention of breast cancer. It will be a new research interest, a new source of R&D and products for them. But then if everybody just wanted to think about oncology, solid oncology, nobody would have probably brought in the infectious disease aspect into oncology. So most times, there's always a point of alignment. No two idea is completely different and distinct. As a leader, like I said, be the glue. Be the glue in merging people of different interests, of different strengths together to work as a whole. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much, Pharmacist Damilola Olaoye. I think we do not have any more questions because yeah, our time is fast spent 5 minutes after the scheduled time. Thank you very much, sir. If you have any questions, I think our facilitators can drop their LinkedIn handle so they can get to contact them via LinkedIn. If you have any question or you'd like to, seek clarity about the subject of leadership as a pharmacy student. Thank you very much, sirs and ma. All right, now, thank you very much, everyone, for joining us here at CCBVP for tonight's session, How to Be an Outstanding Leader in Pharmacy School. We trust that you've learned a whole lot, and we believe that as pharmacy students, we can do beyond what we're supposed to do in pharmacy school. That means we can do great things, from a small place, just like the quote from Sunday Onokoya. And for people who have questions about CCPP, CCPP stands for the Compassionate Pharmacy Practice Project, which is a nation-building project led by Nigerian pharmacists and student pharmacists both at home and in the diaspora, eager to build a Nigerian pharmacy practice system where good pharmacy practice and compassionate care is practiced in urban and rural areas. So please ensure that you look out for mails. We'll send mails very soon for those who are interested in joining CCPP, for those who want to learn about the work we do at CCPP. Trust me, we are doing amazing work and there's a whole lot that will be done. Thank you very much, everyone. We look forward to you having us in another session very soon. From CCPP, my name is Olakuleni Adewusi. Have a wonderful evening.